Clovis Casali is at the Elysée Palace covering the event for us, and we can go across to him now. Clovis, good afternoon to you. Some uncomfortable moments at this event today when those UN officials spoke at this conference.
Indeed, speaking of a desperate and atrocious situation for civilians trapped in Gaza, and the UN representatives here saying they hope a solution can be reached to help the more than 2 million civilians trapped in Gaza, suffering from the violence, the bombardments conducted by Tzahal. You had notably the head of the UN's relief agency, Philippe Lazzarini, saying that it's looking like collective punishment against Gaza. The UN condemning, of course, the Hamas atrocities, the terrorist attack against Israel, but at the same time, that can't justify the way war is currently being conducted, with many civilians killed, thousands of civilians killed in these operations. Philippe Lazzarini saying, please let us impose a ceasefire. Aid must reach everyone in Gaza, all the civilians, and the Rafah entry point is not enough in order to bring the much needed aid. Let's take a listen to the head of the UN's relief agency.
The volume of aid coming in through Rafah blatantly is inadequate. All crossing should be open, in particular crossing points with Israel like Kerem Shalom. But humanitarian aid alone will not cover the needs of people in Gaza. It must be complemented by the private sector and the restoration of municipal services like water and waste management.
That was Philippe Lazzarini speaking about how aid needs to be ramped up, aid deliveries need to be ramped up in Gaza. Clovis, talk us through what the French president had to say, because Emmanuel Macron is walking a fine line, isn't he? On one hand, he realizes that the humanitarian situation is worsening in Gaza, but he also reiterated Israel's right to defend itself.
Indeed, and this aid conference is an initiative of President Emmanuel Macron, and those two UN figures thanked him for this, because the focus must be on humanitarian needs according to them and also according to Emmanuel Macron. That's why there's a significant increase of money being allocated from France to Gaza. France increasing its aid to 100 million euros for civilians in Gaza. And then there were some very important words said by the French president, who said we should work towards a ceasefire. A ceasefire, the word is said. And of course, also a humanitarian pause in order to allow civilians, those injured, to be taken out of Gaza and aid brought into Gaza. This without, of course, reinforcing Hamas fighters. Emmanuel Macron saying Israel has the right to defend itself, but also the duty to protect civilians. And he said our ambition here is to coordinate all goodwill. And that's why you've got these delegations from around the world. Maybe not presidents from Egypt or prime ministers from Israel, for instance, but Emmanuel Macron has been speaking before this conference to Benjamin Netanyahu, to President Sisi, to the Emir of Qatar, and he will be talking after this conference to Benjamin Netanyahu to present him with the conclusion, to express, if you will, the views of the participants here at the Elysée Palace.
Clovis, thank you.